morning students, welcome to SST So Simple tutorial. In the previous class, we read about how the factories were set up in India, where the capital for setting up factories came from, where did the workers come from. Today, we will read the peculiarities of the industrial growth. Students, it was never in the interest of Britain to industrialize India. They wanted India to remain a colony to feed the mother country, England. We read in the previous video that the European managing agencies dominated industrial production in India. They were interested in certain kinds of products only. They acquired land at cheap rates from the colonial government and established tea and coffee plantations. They invested money in mining indigo and jute. Most of these products were used for export trade. So when the Indian businessmen began to set up industries, they avoided to compete with the Manchester goods in the Indian market. Therefore, you will notice that the cotton mill set up early used to make only coarse cotton yarns and not fabric. This yarn was either used by the handloom weavers in India or exported to China. Now you will see a change when Swadeshi movement was started by the Indian nationals in 1906. People were asked to boycott foreign goods, foreign clothes and use only Indian clothes. Therefore, Swadeshi movement stressed the need to develop indigenous industries. Thus, this movement also sowed the seeds of first industries by Indian entrepreneurs. Industrial groups organized themselves and pressurized the government to increase tariff on imported goods. Secondly, mills were setting up in China and Japan also. So Chinese market became full of Chinese and Japanese goods. So the industrialists in India shifted from yarn to cloth production. Cotton piece good production in India doubled between 1900 and 1912. Yet the industrial growth was slow till First World War. The First World War created such a situation that favored the Indian industries. First, British industries were busy in producing and supplying war needs. Hence, they stopped exporting British goods and clothes in colonial markets like India. It was a good opportunity for Indian industries to fill the empty market with their product. Therefore, industrial production in India increased. As the war prolonged, the British colonial government asked Indian factories to supply the war needs like jute bags, cloth, army uniform, tents, leather boots, horse and mule saddles, etc. Therefore, new factories were set up and old factories worked in multiple shifts. Many new workers were employed and everyone was made to work for longer hours. So, over the war years, industrial production boomed. After the war, Manchester could not recapture its old position in the Indian market. Britain was unable to modernize and compete with the US, Germany and Japan. Cotton product collapsed and exports of cotton cloth from Britain fell dramatically. Within the colonies, local industries gradually consolidated their position, substituting foreign manufacturers and capturing the home market. Let us now see what was the condition of small-scale industries. While factory industries grew slowly after the war, large-scale industries formed only a small segment of the economy. Most of them were located in Bengal and Bombay. The rest of the country was dominated by small-scale industries. In fact, handicraft production actually expanded in the 20th century. While cheap machine-made thread wiped out the spinning industry in the 19th century, the weavers in the handloom sector survived. In the 20th century, handloom cloth production trebled between 1900 and 1940. This happened because of technical changes. Handicraft people adopted new technology. if that improved production without much increase in prices. For example, by the second decade of 20th century, they were using fly shuttle. Fly shuttle is a mechanical device used for weaving means of ropes and pulleys. The invention of fly shuttle made it possible for weavers to operate large looms and weave wider pieces of cloth. Fly shuttle increased productivity per worker, speeded up production, and reduced demand of labor. Among the weavers, some produced coarser cloth while others wove finer clothes. The client of both the weavers were different. The coarser cloth was bought by the poor and so its demand fluctuated. They had problems during bad harvest and during famines, whereas the finer clothes was bought by the well-to-do families and their demand remained more or less stable. Famines did not affect the sale of Banarsi sari or a Baluchari sari. Moreover, as we had seen in the case of Britain, mills could not imitate specialized weaves like saris with woven borders or the famous lungis and handkerchiefs of Madras. Therefore, they could not be easily displaced by mill production. The life of weavers, however, was not good. They had to work long hours. Very often, the entire household had to work at various stages of production process. Thus, students, we finished the topic of the day. I hope you have understood it. Let us now see the questions from this topic. Question number 1. Explain the impact of First World War on Indian industries. It came as a 3 marks question in 2009. Question number 2. Describe the peculiarities of Indian industrial growth during the First World War. This came as 4 marks question in 2010. In the next lesson, we will see the tactics used by the Britishers to sell their goods in the Indian market. Till then, keep reading. Have a nice time. Thank you.